Sponsors. I don't know if you just saw the news, but average U.S. household debt just hit $152,000. That's mortgages, cars, cards, student loans, but the national debt just hit $37 trillion. It's all going up. Ask yourself this: when the system hiccups, who bails you out? It's not the Fed, not the politicians, and that's why I own gold. Gold doesn't need a CEO, doesn't need missed earnings, it doesn't freeze your account on a Friday at 4:59. While they print, gold just sits there doing what it's done for thousands of years. Store value. If you're done playing musical chairs with your savings, get something real in your hand. That's why you should try our good friend.
In downtown Grand Rapids, we're talking about what matters most to you in West Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
It's one of those days, folks. I'm just going to tell you. It's a Monday, but we're going to make it happen flying by the seat of our pants. We appreciate you being here with us. Thank you so much for taking the time to jump in and join us. Man, we've got lots to bring you up to speed on. We're going to get to all the stories. Trump is in Asia. Peace deals, there are economic deals being made, and all the like. We're going to tell you the latest about that and more. Hang on, folks.
News, weather, and traffic. Stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
It's the stories that matter most. You'll be talking about these around the water cooler, the dinner table, no matter where you are. Courtesy of our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. We told you for a long time these folks are going to take care of you. Buy, refi, home equity line of credit. Now with the interest rates changing up, got another good round of numbers on Friday, in fact, for the inflation reports. Sent the market flying high. We'll catch up with the latest on that a little bit later on today. But yes, it may be time to reach out and see if they can help you like they've helped us. HHMlending.com.
Number one.
A swarm of masked far-left agitators showing up at the home of Michigan State Rep. Angela Regas over the weekend, chanting, vandalizing her property in protest of her co-sponsorship of bills targeting illegal immigration. The group trespassed on her lawn, taped signs in front of her door demanding she withdraw support, and posted threats. Regas, who chairs the House Oversight Subcommittee on Weaponization of Government, stood firm. Says, I always prioritize the safety of American citizens over dangerous illegal criminals. Police report been filed now, and the evidence has been turned over to the Kent County Sheriff's Department. The latest on this as we continue to follow up with that story. In fact, she'll be here in moments just to tell us exactly what happened. Walk us through it all. It is coming up. And I got to tell you, this is never, I don't care who you are, never a good thing. We never want to see things like this, particularly in the light of recent developments, things that have happened, Charlie Kirk assassination and more. The left continues to get loonier by the day and more violent. Good news, President Trump's Asia trip making global waves, from dancing on the red carpet in Malaysia to brokering a major ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia. He inked new trade deals with Malaysia and Cambodia and set the stage for rare earth negotiations with China. I think the markets are going to love this. In fact, reaction might even spark us to go even higher. We had record highs on Friday. We'll watch as things play out today. Things looking interesting there. We'll follow the latest. Some of the best. My favorite thing over the weekend is watching him dance with those folks in Malaysia as he got off the plane.
Number 3.
Hurricane Melissa is getting close to Jamaica. We keep an eyes on Category 4 storm. The devastation is looming. Folks, praying for, maybe that the storm would take a little bit of a turn. It could, if it sticks, stay over that area for like 24 hours as it closes in. The sustained winds near 140 miles per hour, slow movement that raises a risk of catastrophic flooding in storm surges, as I just mentioned, and we're keeping those folks in our prayers as that whole thing continues to develop. Hang in there with us. We got more coming up in just minutes. But first, she's jumping on, joining us now. I think we didn't have a chance to test this because of our earlier issues that we were just trying to overcome. But thank you so much for being here with us, Rep Regas, this morning. You had a rough weekend, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's putting it mildly. Uh I was awakened on Saturday by the beatings of drums outside my house, and my oldest son is a musician, so I thought maybe he's taken up the drums now. I wasn't sure what was happening, and then I look out the window and I see this long line of these protesters, some in masks. There was one guy who was completely dressed in black with his eyes covered. It was really creepy. My first instinct was to go outside and confront them and see what they wanted. And my kids were freaking out. I had 3 kids at home with me. It was just me and my children, and they wanted me to stay in the house. They were worried for my safety, so I stayed in the house. But they were on my front deck. They were in my yard. They were on my sidewalk. They were making demands, and then they were chanting things like "No fear, no something." I don't know. It was just some left extremist BS chants.
We've got
They
some
were
of the video here. Let's
Yeah.
let people hear it and see it. This is from your ring door camera.
See the dog. There's no way they're going to
Hey, how does that feel? Look, I know as somebody's in the public eye and you're a representative, some of this, I guess, you have to be accessible, et cetera. But at the same time, this idea that anybody can come to your house when your kids are there, and that this would be something that would be normalized is even wilder. What does this feel like for people that are watching this? I know you're tough, but I can't imagine this feels good at all.
No, I actually felt a little violated, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna, obviously, you should redress your grievances to the government. However, that's why we have an office phone and an email. That's why I have coffee hours. That's why I have all of these things. But to come to my home where my children are is completely unacceptable. Yes, I'm in the public eye. Come at me. Leave my kids alone. And one of my kids ducked his head up for a second because he could not believe what was happening, and they started yelling obscenities at him, telling him to not be like his mom. And luckily, my
Wow.
neighbor came over, and they were blocking traffic in front of my house, by the way. And my neighbor guy came over, and he had to honk his horn and try to get through these people. And then he parked and he sat on my front deck, thank goodness. But these people are crazy. They're just crazy, and they're not getting their way. And this stupid document they hung on my door, I was supposed to sign it stating that I was going to withdraw my support from these bills that are in Michigan removing like benefits for illegals and stuff. They're so stupid. That's not even how that process works. And now, honestly, I wish I could co-sponsor these bills twice because they're not going to intimidate me. They're sick. They're sick, violent individuals. This is from an organization out of Grand Rapids. They all signed it too, by the way, which is really bizarre. And so, we're in the process now. The police are using facial recognition on my videos. My Ring camera, thank goodness, caught everything. Along with my 15-year-old, he was recording out out of the window. But it was insanity. Insanity.
Yeah, it is, and it not only that, but I think in a situation, unfortunately, this day and age, this could have ended really badly.
For them.
Not just for them, but yeah, but for other folks in the neighborhood too. I mean, who knows? This is just not the situation. It's not the way to do things. But yeah, because of the day and age that we're in, look, I don't answer my door unless I absolutely know who you are and I know you're coming, kind of thing. And I think there's some people you got to be careful who are prepared, that are responsible. And armed. Let's just say, because look, you're full within your rights to make sure that in your own home that you can protect yourself and your children. And I'm not saying that this would have happened in this situation, but it could have. And that's the sad thing. I don't think these people, unfortunately, are what's the word I'm looking for? Above that. I think, in fact, some of this they're welcoming. They want these confrontations. They're trying to pull us in to this chaos that they're in. So as we pray for you and your family, I think we ought to pray for some of these wackos as well. Unfortunately, Lord knows they could use it.
Well, and Justin, they had been warned to leave my property. I did, and it was a challenge because that poster that they hung over my door, I couldn't see out my front door. So I was watching on my Ring camera, but I did open the door and I said, "Get off my property now. Stay off my deck. Stay off my sidewalk. You are free to protest, not impeding traffic, but stay off my property now." And that was their one warning that they received. And those who know me know, obviously, I'm a staunch supporter of the Second Amendment, but I'm also responsibly armed. And they had their
Sure.
warning, and they did comply with that. However, they still continue to scream violent rhetoric to me. And when they did trespass, it was really unnerving. It was really unnerving that they felt that this was just something that they could freely do. And unfortunately, the police arrived after they had left. This organization had scheduled protests at several reps' houses that weekend, and liberal and Democrat, they didn't care whose home they were going to. They
Yeah.
went to Tullio Liberati's house as well. He's a Democrat, and
Hmm.
they were in his backyard. So this isn't just about Republican, Democrat. They are trying to intimidate anyone who, number one, co-sponsored these bills, but number two, have not been outspoken against these bills.
Let's remind people too how Rep. Angela Regas got involved here. By the way, this she never came looking for any of this. This literally came looking for her. She was protesting at the Capitol. If you go back, I guess it was 2020, 2021, somewhere in there in that time frame. And this is when all of this kind of came to a head. You were just someone trying to make a living, and you were arrested. I mean, you've seen the weaponization from the government, and now you've seen this intimidation from some of these wacky folks on the left.
Yeah, that's correct. And I won't be intimidated by these people. I was just upset that my children were able to witness some of this, you know, sick behavior from the left. So,
What happens next? I mean, law enforcement has this. Obviously, they're going to take a look and see if there's anything that needs to be done. I don't know Michigan laws, but certainly seems like to me that there was political intimidation that was meant by all of this. Protesting is one thing, airing your grievances, all of that's another. But I would just imagine that somewhere, somebody, even up in the Department of Justice at the federal level, might want to take a look at this if we don't see movement here in Michigan.
I would hope so. And that's what I would push for, because I'm not going to tolerate people coming to my home and intimidating me and entering my property.
Yeah, and ultimately, this is the same thing you see on the streets. This Though Kings and all this stuff. This stuff is not grassroots. It's funded by folks, billionaires that you would know the names of, who are leftist and essentially just want to see they're communist Marxists. They wanted to see the destruction of this country, and this is the kind of thing that they're very highly organized and highly paid to do. Unfortunately, in this scenario, it's another one of those that I think crosses the line and pushes that Overton window further and further. We had a Supreme Court justice. A man went armed to his house, tried to kill. This stuff is not. It's not like it doesn't happen, and it's largely coming from the left. We had folks, a lawmaker assassinated in Minnesota. I mean, this is very concerning, and I don't care where it comes from as far as what side of the aisle. It's plain evil. But unfortunately, right now, the statistics are just showing us this is coming largely from the left.
Sure. Sure.
What
And
do we
they
do?
had they were like militants, right? They
Mhm.
it just it felt differently. I've been to Oh my goodness. So many protests I can't even tell you. And this felt completely different. There was a very different vibe to this. When they left, they did say they were coming back for me, but they've been warned. They've been warned. I understand my rights as a firearm, as a gun owner as well. So I will protect my property. I will protect my family.
Well,
I would
definitely.
never want it to escalate to that, but um I'm not I it would be them before me.
God forbid it would. We're
Right?
praying for you and for everyone else who is who's in public service, and obviously folks who are on the other side of this as well, that they'd come to their senses on this, because this is just, it's not going to end well. And unfortunately, these folks can go to the wrong place, the wrong time. Something's going to happen, and maybe that's what they want. But I really, I'm standing against that, and I'm praying for you and your family. And keep us. Will you come back and keep us posted as all this plays out, and let us know what you hear?
Sure. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And by the way, happy birthday. It's Angela Reed's birthday today. So congratulations. Happy
Thank
birthday. We
you.
appreciate you. Get
Thank
some
you so
rest
much.
today if you can. Yeah, do something fun. Take your mind off all this craziness.
Right. Thanks,
If you
Justin.
can. I know. Continuing the hard work there in Lansing and at home, but take a little time to have a little fun if you can. Look, folks, we got more of the stories you won't really believe it. I'm telling you, you're not going to hear them anywhere else, many of them, in most cases. And by the way, exclusive conversations like the one you just heard, the story behind the story. Back in moments. Don't go anywhere. It's West Michigan Live. I'm Justin Barkley. First, please join me, if you can. You're able. Stand for our national anthem.
I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. We have the video as leftist agitators wearing masks vandalized the home of Michigan Representative Angela Regis over anti-illegal immigration bills that she supports. Regis is not intimidated, saying she will always prioritize the safety of American citizens over dangerous illegal criminals. Governor Whitmer thinks Democrats should fix Florida, a state that welcomes more Michigan residents than any other state in the country. We can't write off any voter or any district, Whitmer says on our X page. We've got to show up everywhere to compete and win in 2026. And the government shutdown starts day 27 this Monday. If an agreement is not reached by the end of this month, 42 million Americans are at risk of losing their SNAP food assistance benefits. Republicans in the Senate putting forward a bill that would keep SNAP funded. For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
FBI, open up!
Let's move.
FBI is all news.
All right. Welcome in, folks. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It's been one of those days, as I mentioned, but we're here. We're doing it. In-studio guest coming up as a surprise in just a moment. We're getting through some of these commercials to get us where we need to go. If you're just tuning in, you're watching behind-the-scenes live stream. I appreciate you being here with us. Michigan Joe, Hemi, Terry, good to see you. Thank you so much for joining the behind-the-scenes live stream today over on the VIP Freedom Fam over on Locals. JustinBarkley.com/VIP, just $7 a month until the end of this week. Then it goes up. So make sure you get locked in, grandfathered in for ever. Nana Teresa, good to see you too. Appreciate you, Kelly, Sharon. Always a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much. Stand by. We got more coming up in just minutes. We'll say hi to Trisha's, S.J. Kelly, Pinky, Jen Lynn, Tennessee, Whiskers, Sheila over on Rumble. On the book today, Keith, good to see you. Sherry, Chuck is over on YouTube. Brian, good to see you. Shelly, Bruce, they said that FB is playing hide and seek again. That's interesting. The book does us dirty every now and then. That's why we ask you to help us share this story. This news you won't hear anywhere else. Share this live stream. Definitely helpful, folks. Get the word out. Stand by. Here we go. Back after it, coming up next, we're going to talk about that government shutdown. Folks losing SNAP benefits on November 1st. What blew me away, not that the 40 million are going to lose it, but there were 40 million on SNAP benefits, a little over 40 million. How does that happen in the first place? That's a whole nother question that I think really we ought to come to grips with. Why is that the case? In a system and a setup that really should just be for folks who need it the most at a short window of time, right? This is like and then some that, need it persistently and for obvious reasons, right? The folks disabled, et cetera. But, this should be a safety net, not a hammock. That's just the obvious when it comes to all the government help. I mean, it's unfortunately what we see things turning into. The question really is why? How did we get that way? And we're going to try and tackle that amongst some of the other big stories at Trump there overseas in Asia this morning and more. So don't go anywhere. We got the latest coming up in just moments. Mike Rogers, running for Senate, joins us coming up. By the way, you want to see the video, the Ring camera porch video from Rep. Regis's home? And then insanity that ensued over the weekend, JustinBarkley.com. We've got it up right now for you. Just log in and check it out. Back next after our bottom of the hour news.
Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Wishing the holidays could come early? If you own or manage your business, they can. With help from iHeartRadio. People are already shocked.
All right, folks. I got to click a few buttons, and then we'll bring our guest in just a moment. I appreciate you taking the time to be here. If you don't mind, I might play a little video here for a moment, and then we'll jump back on in just a second. Here's Dave Bondi. Not just a little bit of this, but he interviewed Board of Education member Nikki Snyder on the proposed health education standards going too far. Check this out, Dave Bondi, all over Dave Bondi TV on X. Definitely give him a watch. And this is a story, an exclusive he's got. You're going to want to catch up on. Be right back. Stand by.
Hello, everyone. Joining me right now on the screen, Nikki Snyder. A lot of you looking forward to hearing from her, Michigan Department of Education. Big issue going on involving, and I don't even know what to call it. Is it health curriculum? Is it sex education? What are we talking about exactly?
So I am calling them sex education standards because we have a sex education law that separates sex education topics from health education topics and protects parental opt-out. What the Michigan Department of Education is doing is infusing sex education topics into health education standards that are required for graduation. And that particular law that is held under the Michigan Merit Curriculum does not allow for parental opt-out.
And I went back and forth with, I think it was Mr. Wheaton, their PR dude from the Michigan Department of Education. He used to be, I think, with another department. But anyway, he wrote me, said, no, they can opt out it's not, they insist parents can opt out of it, but is that going to be in writing anywhere specifically, or is it just kind of a vague thing, or we don't know?
No, we do know. Health education is a credit that's required under Michigan merit curriculum, and
Okay.
there is no parental opt out for it. So there's a bit of speaking out of both sides of their mouth at this point in time,
Yeah.
because I think they want to rest on the sex education law as if that's what they're speaking to, but it is not what they're speaking to. Uh, Michigan merit curriculum law makes it such that the Department of Education can write these types of sex education standards and hide them and disguise them as health education and skirt around that parental opt out.
So there's no part of where you can have health, and then as that health education, uh, as you're seeing this, a parent can't say, okay, well, that's the sex part, I don't want my kid to go to that. It's either under the law they can't do that.
Correct. And actually, the health education credit under that MMC law is very specific about what health education is described as. It's described as things like tobacco, alcohol, safety related topics, healthy eating, basics of health education. And nowhere in that law does it describe sex education as something that you can teach.
So as of now, like right now in Michigan, there's sex education in one bucket and there's health in another, and they don't interact.
You got it.
Okay. And these are possible changes to this. And I like Mr. McMillan. I put his soundbite on Twitter that this actually comes from Massachusetts. Or how did this even come about? Like when you get together, how does this enter the room, even something like this?
Well, I think what happens over time is you see the Department of Education just simply going rogue because they have no real authority that provides a check and balance for their leadership. And what I've seen over the last 9 years, to be completely honest with you, is just a division among people. And so that's what you see with health education standards. They know it's a hot topic. They know parental rights is extremely important to Michiganders. And again, they're just speaking out of both sides of their mouth. While they're doing one thing, they're saying another.
Do the schools, let's say this does pass, do the schools have to follow it?
Yes, because it's the Michigan merit curriculum and these credits are required for graduation. So they will get these standards, or what they're also trying to call them is a framework, right? They like to muddy the waters and create confusion and conflate things. And it does. It's confusing.
Yeah, the word framework makes me think, oh.
All right, we'll show you some more of that a little bit later here, folks. But back on the air in just a moment. Special guest Mike Rogers in the studio with us. He's running for Senate. We'll talk to him. Lots to discuss, government shutdown and beyond. The Goshen story, that's another big one that's making the news, making the rounds. We can't forget that. And any questions you might have, rants, raves, complaints, comments. If it's a complaint, take a number. But we love to hear from you. So go ahead and drop them in the comments now. And we'll jump back on the air. Here we go.
At your favorite retailer, use as directed.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live with our good friend Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
Welcome in, folks. We appreciate you being here with us today. And man, oh man, as I mentioned, checking the markets, it's what was a big wrap up of the week on Friday on the news with the inflation. It's not where they thought it would be. I mentioned this, and here it is, exactly what I thought. Dow opening strong, up 300 because of the news on China. President Trump talking about that big trade deal. Looks like that's going to actually come through, and some big news on that. We'll continue to keep you updated and posted as that comes out.
China.
But, yeah, no matter where you are, as Trump tries to get things back on track, look, we need to make sure that you're ready. Whether you want to retire today, tomorrow, 10, 20 years down the road. Mike Lester and the team at Talon Wealth can help you get there. GuardingYourNestEgg.com. They take a holistic approach to make sure that you can do just that. Not just survive, but thrive in those years, whether they're down the road or they're staring you right in the face where you are today. Guardingyournestegg.com or call today at 616-661-1000. That's 616-661-1000. And in that way, they can make sure you're taken care of. Lots to talk about. We got shutdown. We got the Goshen story, which is still massive, and more this morning. Welcome into the studio with us, Mike Rogers, former congressman, running for Senate here. Appreciate you taking the time to be here with us today.
Justin, it is always good to be here. Thanks for having me in studio.
Our pleasure. Let's get to the shutdown because this is what people want to talk about. And Republicans in the Senate, I mean, I just heard in the news just moments ago, SNAP, this is the latest story. So I want to put some of this on the back burner because I want to talk about how many people are on this and why that, I think, might be a problem. The second piece of this is that they've already started passing things, trying to get things passed through the Senate now to get that funded. We've seen that happen on the House side. Things have come through. Republicans are not the issue here. We don't have enough votes, need 60. I've heard Fetterman out there say, we got to go the nuclear option. Let's get rid of the filibuster and move forward. Bottom line is Americans, and in the swing states I saw a poll this weekend, it said they believe Democrats are to blame here. They know they're starting to understand what's going on here. And at the end of the day, Americans are the ones paying the price.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. You know, the folks at Social Security just are stopped getting paid as well.
Yeah.
These are the folks who are helping senior citizens who are counting on those checks coming in every month, trying to get them help, making sure that check comes. And by the way, these are folks that don't have a lot of margins for error on their finances. I mean, they're living paycheck to paycheck. It just gets more candidly awful as this thing goes on. The Democrats voted 12 times not to close the government, not to keep it open. And then that last week they said, okay, well, let's at least pay law enforcement and the troops. They blocked that too. This is about as cynical politics as you can get. And there is, you think about Chuck Schumer saying, hey, the longer this goes, better for us. And when he says us, he's talking about Democrat politicians in Washington, D.C. Mm-hmm. And he believes it. He doesn't care that families are running out of cash. He doesn't care that, people who work in the federal government also are living paycheck to paycheck in many places. Here in Michigan, by the way, It's about $300 million a week in lost money spent in our economy from those federal workers. We've got, tens of thousands that work here. Yeah. That money doesn't go to small business. It doesn't go to restaurants. It doesn't go to dry cleaners. It is causing this ripple effect. Mm-hmm. Trump came up with a pretty creative plan just to pay our troops. These are the folks standing guard. They don't get to go home. Yeah. They're standing tall. And the Democrats again and again and again have voted to close it down and aren't even interested in negotiating. By the way, you know this, Justin, these close-down votes, it's just to keep funding current. This is something that the Democrats have already voted for.
Oh, yeah, this is a continuing resolution, so that means we just want to keep things where they're going so we can negotiate the new budget, and they're supposed to do that sometime in the month of November, and we're running out of time for all this. On top of it, there's a big health care issue looming as well. And it seems like that's kind of the direction they want to take us now.
It's a burn-it-down philosophy that I just don't understand. Matter of fact, the number 2 leader in the House of Representatives for the Democrats came out and said, yeah, I know this is going to hurt people, but this is the only leverage we have.
Yeah.
By the way, she's getting paid. So, this makes no sense to me. Yeah. Not only should no member of Congress get paid, I think no member of Congress should get paid if we can't get a budget done by October 1st of every year. I mean, if that's the fiscal year. Yeah. That's when it's due. Everybody knows we have a homework date, or Congress has a homework date. They ought to have to live up to, just like you do on your job, just like I do in my job. Mm-hmm. They should have to live up to that standard. This silly game that they're playing with people's lives and people's paychecks is obscene.
Former Congressman Mike Rogers in studio with us now, running for Senate. Over the weekend, this story came out. Of course, we're talking about the SNAP numbers. Just take a listen to this. 1 in 8 Americans.
Trump administration says it will not use emergency funds to pay for federal food benefits with a fast approaching deadline. CBS's Christina Fan is in New York with details on that. Christina.
Well, Jericho, 1 in 8 Americans rely on SNAP benefits, and tonight there is mounting worry for them. They might.
Well, I got to pause it right there because, I'm concerned, you're right, about this and Democrats causing this crisis. But My question is, how do we get to the part where 1 in 8 Americans are on these benefits? It's supposed to be a safety net and not a hammock. And I don't think Democrats look at it that way. In fact, I know they've been trying to do this in Michigan with various other different things ever since the COVID and beyond. They're trying to get as many people on the government rolls as possible so that we're dependent upon them. We'll keep voting for these people and voting for these policies. But that doesn't help us at all. That doesn't help America. I think Trump's plan this entire time has been, you know what? I want to make America great again. I want to make sure that people have good paying jobs again. I want to make sure that they don't need this assistance ever again. That seems to me sort of the prosperity route that he wants to go. It's anti this whole issue, but this may backfire with Schumer finding out 1 in 8 Americans have to live on SNAP. It's incredible.
Think about what the government did to you. Remember, here in this state, they shut down everything. Your business got shut down.
Right.
Your schools got shut down. You were basically locked in your home. And what they did is went to the government and said, hey, let's make up for it by borrowing money we don't have and spend it and putting all of these people, to your point, on some kind of government assistance. And that just didn't change. Once the pandemic was over, they didn't change. They said, well, we're just going to keep these folks on there. And listen, I'm where you're at. We want to help people who need it. It's really important that we do that. But you can't have 1 in 8 people on a federal government's assistance program and wonder why we have $36 trillion in debt.
Yeah.
And so but I don't believe we should cut them right off. I do think we all got to be on notice that this thing is going to slide out. Mm-hmm. And here's how we're going to change it. And what Trump is doing is reshoring, really important, made in America. It's coming back. Ford, Stellantis, GM have all announced that they're going to get more manufacturing here, small manufacturers getting more work.
We just saw $13 billion from Stellantis the other day. That's huge.
It is huge. And that's part of this program. You want better paying, high-paying jobs. We lost 30,000 manufacturing jobs under the Democrats in Lansing since 2018. This is going to put a stop to that. This is going to get them back. This is going to give people who are now on subsistence and barely getting by the opportunity to get a very good, high-paying job and make a difference for them and their family in the way forward. That's why this is also important that we continue to go march forward the way we are.
Hey, talking about making things in America again, and of course the push to make American things again. Goshen, the Chinese Communist Party-linked battery plant up north, Mecosta County, Green Charter Township, where the people stood up and said, "We don't want this in our backyard."
China.
It's done. It sounds like, at least anyway. This is a major. I know we were just in Big Rapids talking to those folks.
This is huge, and this is why this is fantastic. It shows that the David and Goliath moment.
Yeah,
and they beat the Whitmer Democrat machine out of Lansing, trying to throw money at this Chinese company. The federal government also kind of trying to help out the Chinese company under the Biden administration, and even affecting the locals. And they beat them. They beat them because common sense prevailed, and it shows that just a small group, a handful of courageous people can stand up to the big beast of government and win this particular fight. And what's so important about this got here because of really bad Democrat policy under Biden. They're going to tell you what kind of car to drive. And by the way, we're going to tell manufacturers what kind of car they have to build. And so they went right down the list, bad policy, bad policy, bad policy, and all of the money that they wasted getting to the place where they were pushing this Chinese company to build a battery plant around Big Rapids. It was nonsense after nonsense after nonsense. This is why that policy was so terrible that the government got involved in your personal decision about an automobile. And this is what wreaked that havoc. The good news is these folks were able to stand up in their own community and make a difference.
What kind of a blueprint is that? I mean, also for the rest of not just the rest of the state, there's some of these other issues in the Marshall Plan. The folks are still kind of lingering. And they tried this, Goshen tried this a few other places throughout the country. So there's a couple of these. But what it looks like, apparently because of President Trump's leadership and this shift, I know that the big three are looking at this too, is some of those subsidies going away and the market's going to dictate again. Which is the way to do it the whole time. We should have just allowed these folks to innovate.
Crazy. You mean we're going to allow the car builders to build cars that people want to buy? Mm-hmm. Oh, that's crazy talk. Mm-hmm. Oh, listen, even in Lansing, that EV battery that the government was pushing General Motors to build. Guess what's going on? They just announced recently they're going to build the CTS-5 back in that plant. And guess what? That car sells. People want to buy that car.
Yeah.
So that's a great news story as well, because of all the subsidies and all the government intervention in the marketplace and the government trying to figure out what's best for you. All of that got taken away. And guess what? The market's now kicking in, and they're going to build cars that people want to buy. They're going to do it here in Michigan. And these are high-paying, very clean, high-end manufacturing jobs. Really, really important for this state. Matter of fact, if we want to get back to safer communities, if we want to get back to more prosperous communities, the way we do it is build things here again. And it's going to take a little effort, but it's a great start, what the president's been doing on this Made in America. And guess what? It's paying off. I talked to a guy the other day. Justin said, first time in 25 years, I'm putting on a second shift.
Wow.
Because that work is coming back. I talked to a guy near Portage who's adding 30 jobs because of reshoring efforts. And these are good paying jobs in a pretty small community. And so it is starting to have an impact for the positive, because those are the kind of jobs that get you in the middle and upper middle class here in the state. And you don't need government assistance when you're working and getting paid well and you can take care of your family. That's the way to do this.
Two completely different ideals, two completely different pictures of the way it should be. And I think the American people said we had enough of the way the left was moving. And that's why President Trump continues. Quickly, let's talk about, incredible what's happening overseas right now. He's over in Asia. He's got another peace deal done. He's got some economic deals done. Looks like might have a deal with China. That's why the markets are up this morning. It's incredible to watch this guy in the scale and the speed that he works. I know you've had some time around him. This is just wild to see, isn't it?
It's amazing. You think about just the Middle East, that would be a hallmark of any presidency in the past. He's done it within, 11 months of being in office, that has got us a step forward. And by the way, why that's important, I just talked to a series of Muslim leaders, business leaders in the Muslim community here in Michigan. They can't praise President Trump enough because he's getting to peace, right? Yeah. And it's going to be huge. This China deal, why that's so important? Soybeans have been a killer for our agriculture, not only here but around the country. That looks like that's going to open up. So now they're going to have market for their soybeans. That'll be a huge relief to farmers all across our state and all across the country, which was huge. It was getting a little bit nervous there. I just saw that the Secretary of the Treasury announced that they're part of that China deal is that they're going to buy soybeans again.
Yeah.
And so really, really important stuff. If he gets that deal with China, this is pretty significant for a better economy. That means prosperity to more families, and you're going to get to keep a lot more of your money after the tax relief. Next year could be a phenomenally good year for working families across the state. And we just got to keep backing them to keep doing these deals and keep working. And you know what? Doesn't mean every day is going to be successful. He's had a couple of setbacks, but it's not for lack of trying. He gets right back up and goes at it. So I'm pretty fired up about the opportunity of what he's going to bring for prosperity here. And now if we just had maybe a Republican senator instead of two Democrat senators in Washington, we'd get a better deal here in the state.
I tried to bring that in the first part of the interview. I thought, we got all these issues. We got to get to 60 in the Senate. We just don't have enough. Wouldn't it be nice if we had another one?
Completely.
We could have two from Michigan. This is folks, this is an opportunity. We got to make sure we're taking advantage of it this point.
When part of the defense industrial base, manufacturing base drifted away from Michigan, you send me back, we're going to get that back. Imagine this, a Republican governor picks up the phone and calls a Republican senator for first time in 32 years, and who can walk into the Oval Office and say, Mr. President, this is what Michigan needs.
Yeah.
That's a whole new day, and why we would pass up that opportunity to really kind of focus on what Michigan needs, not their national party interests and all of that the two Democrats are doing now.
Yeah.
This would be huge for the state and a huge opportunity. And I want, at the end of the day, people's kids or grandkids not to have to sit down at the dinner table and say, I got to leave Michigan to look for a job. We need to end that. And by the way, you elect me next year, we are going to end that.
Mike Rogers running for Senate. You can find out more at rogersforsenate.com. Anything else you're hearing on the trail that you think is important people need to hear today? anything that you need to share before we?
Crime is just people need to understand. Democrats have been whitewashing our crime problem in Michigan.
Yeah.
We have 8 of the top 50 most dangerous cities in the country in our state. That means that their violence per 100,000 people is much higher than the national average. Aggravated assault and rape, and people see it out in these communities. Imagine if we pulled together 286 cities, 83 counties, and said, we're going to make sure that every city that's on that list comes off the list. People understand that they want to be able to walk to school or grocery or go play in a park without fear of crime. They're not there yet. A lot of work yet to do. And, of course, the Democrats just say, nothing to see here, move along. Don't pay attention to the fact that Detroit is one of the most violent cities in America.
It's incredible. Well, we continue to fight the fight. You're doing that well on the path all throughout the state. Again, if folks want to know more, RogersForSenate.com. Always appreciate you taking the time to be here with us and give us the latest. And stop in again. Love to hear from you.
Justin, thanks for having me. You're even more handsome in person than
Listen
you
to
are on the radio.
Listen to this guy. He knows Halloween's getting close. That's why you can say that. So you dressed up. You got a mask on today. We are going to be wearing masks this weekend at that event, Barry, Allegan, Ionia County, we were just talking about. And
what are you going as? I have to know.
I think. I was kind of anti-mask over the last few years. I like to breathe, so it might be kind of tough for me to pull that one off. Hey, thank you for being here with us. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You got it. Back after this, folks. You got it. Hang on there with us. We're back next on West Michigan Live. Check out the latest from the Midwesterner with the latest updates
Here are your
today.
headlines from the Midwesterner this Monday, October 27th. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. The Midwesterner with the exclusive video and audio of leftist agitators wearing masks vandalizing the home of Michigan Representative Angela Regas over anti-illegal immigration bills that she supports. Regas says she will not be intimidated. Governor Whitmer thinks Democrats should fix Florida, a state that welcomes more Michigan residents than any other state in the country. We can't write off any voter or any district, Whitmer says on our X page.
And it's what makes next year so important and why showing up to some of the toughest places for Democrats to win is going to be key in 2026.
In other news, President Trump scheduled to meet with Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea on Thursday at the APEC summit, the two to discuss the fentanyl drug crisis along with tariffs and trade. For these stories and more, visit the Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
This is a Money Minute with Laurel Stewart, president of Matson Financial Services, where you...
Oh, okay. Well, school districts or school boards can opt out of certain... That's what that wording makes me think.
We're all
Yeah, and another thing too, just to remember is right now we have an interim
3 decades ago or so. We are
so
not
Dr.
transactional. We're not
retired in
here
October
to have one thing
month.
happen.
And then we have a new state
go on your way.
superintendent that was
We're here
selected
to
via
make
a very
transformational
corrupt
change
process
in your
starting
life.
in
You've worked so
December.
hard to get where
I've
you're at, and
repeatedly
now
asked
you
that
just need
he
a
give
team to
his
help you get
email
to this
and
next
his
level.
phone
Take
number
your
so that
hard-earned money.
citizens can
Make sure you
contact
have
them
income
with their
that lasts throughout your
frustrations
life. Takes care
because
of
there's an
self-sufficiency.
abundant number of people that
so they
have
can
problems with these
to us,
standards.
and that's living out their
And
dreams,
I
goals,
have
and
not
desires.
gotten a contact for
to
him
work
so that you can be accountable to this change.
started.
So what I think we're also seeing is not just sex education standards that are being disguised as health education, but a bureaucratic body that is just operating rogue without any accountability. Because we really should see the leadership that's leading this accountable for it.
So this is kind of like at the federal level, and even with the state, an administrative state, there's a non-elected of people who are wheeling and dealing and doing things that
just $89
they're not elected to do. Really,
your furnace's performance.
Correct.
For
in other states, you don't
but hurry,
actually
schedule
see
your
the Department of
$89
Education have this
tune-up
capacity
today
to
at
act in such a unilateral
chapman.com.
fashion
That's
without any checks or balances.
So the spokesperson from the Michigan Department of Education said what you're saying is absolutely false. It's misinformation. That's not true. How do you respond to that?
Well, again, I think if they're talking about the sex education law, they
Yeah.
can hide behind parental opt-out, but that's not what they're doing. And recently, in the last couple of years, the last legislature.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. I was my attempt to try and give you something to listen to, and unfortunately, we had everything running at the same time. I apologize. Hang on, back on the air. Stand by.
.com.
That's autolaw.com.
Did you catch it over the weekend? Might be my favorite thing. So they get on the Air Force One. It's like a 24-hour flight over there where they're going. They get on Air Force One, and I'm kind of watching because I know one of the folks said he is Trump's like right-hand woman. She's fantastic. Her name is Margot. And she's doing all the video filming, and I mean, she's the best. She's with them all the time. And you see all this stuff from behind the scenes. This is Margot. She's getting on the plane. She'll show you what they're having for dinner. She'll show you, all this stuff at Air Force One. It's really kind of fun to watch. Anyway, here's video that she caught over the weekend, which I thought was incredible. Here he is, President Trump, coming down the red carpet, and he gets to a place where they're playing music. If you can hear this, it is a little bit of almost like a YMCA going on back here. You gotta do the dance. They're playing some sort of Malaysian. I don't know what it is, but it's like a Malaysian. I don't know. Malaysian something. Traditional garb. They got the drums going and everything, and they love that he's there, and here he is dancing, doing the Trump dance with these guys. I just can't get enough of this. How about you? Oh, it's hilarious. Anyway, we got more from the trip with the date on that, plus Hurricane Melissa, praying for those folks over Jamaica. If you missed a moment at all, look at that video that we were talking about, the Ream Cam video where those folks to the left storming the house of Rep. Angela Regas over the weekend. We got that at justinbarkley.com. All the stories we talked about today, you get access to them now at justinbarkley.com. That's fastest show in radio flying by. And, of course, we got an after show, which is the show after show, streaming at Facebook, Twitter, X, Rumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, and my favorite, the iHeartRadio app, wherever you download your podcast. You can listen live or archive. In the meantime, wishing you the best. Make it a great day. The Glenn Beck program is next. God bless.
Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
WOOD Grand Rapids, WOOD FM Muskegon. The news is next on Wood Radio.
Did you know which assets are out?
All right. Sorry about that issue, guys. I'm glad we got it fixed. I saw Jason saying that he thought he was just overly medicated this morning. That was not the case. Jason, you weren't hearing things? There were like two different things playing at once. The commercials and then some of that we were playing with Dave Bondi, just to give you a little bit of something to watch. Anyway, that interview, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it. He did a great interview. Nikki Snyder's great, but that's a story we covered, about a week or so back, and it's still developing. They were really overwhelmed with people that came and commented, and I think you're going to want to hear what she had to say. Dave always does a great job. Anyway, let's get this started. I'll get the after show rolling and get to you coming up in just a moment. I got some personal stuff I want to share with you later on today. Well, I'll save it for the air. Let me get this thing on there. Hang on a second. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barkley. Welcome into the after show, the show after the show. Never a dull moment. Never have time to get to it all, but we're doing our best to make sure you're informed about the stories you won't hear anywhere else. Brian Buck taking issue with the fact that Jason is medicated. 7 a.m. already? He says, how does that happen? Well, at least, I don't know. Don't get me started. Do you have pants on this morning at least? The chickens are running around. There's a green fog somewhere in the greenhouse. Or maybe it's always there. I don't know exactly. Jason Greenbud. I gotta wonder, is that your real last name? Because I feel like it can't be. Am I onto something here? I might be. We'll try and dial into that coming up here on the program. In the meantime, thank you for being here. Like I said, I got so much the updates from Trump's Asian trip to Asia. The numbers right now on the Dow smashing records. We've got we're up 200 points already because of it all. These China trade deals already being discussed and more. So let's dig into that. Plus, I saw something. I took issue with something. I took issue. I don't remember who said it. It was something about I wanted to see arrest and I haven't seen arrest. Who was that? Jason, was that you? All right, so somebody admit to it. Because I want to. You're not in trouble, but I want to make sure I at least talk about it coming up here in a second. So anyway, thanks to the folks at ProTech Heating and Cooling. Lisa and the team, as I mentioned before, quite often do a fantastic job to keep us and I don't know about you, but not only my family, but so many others safe and warm and cozy for the winter season, which is upon us, by the way. And today, they're offering a free humidifier, Remy Halo air purifier with any furnace and air conditioner installation for the month of October. If you're a DTE Energy customer, you could be eligible for a free furnace tune-up. Please do this, not just because it's free, but because I'm telling you right now, we discovered when we had our air conditioner go out, they really did, discovered that there was a major problem, and had we turned our heater on, our furnace, something would have and could have gone horribly wrong, and our family, thank goodness, spared because of it. But listen, that's what I'm saying. There's nothing to mess around with. And it's free. If you're a DTE Energy customer, may be eligible that free furnace tune-up, discounted boiler tune-up. Contact ProTech today. That's protechgr.com, protechdr.com, or call them at 616-303-7436, and they'll help you. Okay. Jason, who I don't know if he was the one who said this earlier, but was asking about arrest, and I think, and by the way, he's also not admitting that his last name really is Greenbud. Is Jason a plant? Well, if he was, we know which one he would be. But I got to wonder, Jason, are you real or are you a bot? Or are you a pot? I don't know. Either way, we're glad you're here. But I think it was Jason. Somebody said this earlier. So this is what I got to set the records. When I see stuff like this, I got to set the record straight. Are they going at the pace that we'd like to see? You know, somebody said, I thought there would be arrests by now and there'd be so many into this. I don't remember who said that. But at the end of the day, we have, folks, Comey has been arrested. I think Fauci's next. Letitia James has been arrested. They have, these people, grand juries have indicted them. I mean, this is great news. Now, is it going as fast as we like to? Nothing ever goes as fast as I like to see. I don't know about you, but no, nothing ever goes as fast as I want to see it. I mean, I want to see these people locked up. I want to see paraded around in handcuffs, and I want to see, like the early morning raids. That's what I want to see. But is it ever quick enough? No. I will tell you things are happening, and that's what we got to stay on top of. That they're at the rate that we're going, they're out themselves faster than we could even arrest them. This is AOC over the weekend at the Mom Donnie rally. Zoran the moron. I can't remember the guy's name. Gave him this nickname. Michael, oh, gosh. Gosh, he's hilarious. What is that guy's name? He's an actor. Anyway, I'll look him up. But this is hilarious. Zoran the moron. She's at the rally. Listen to what she says.
But we must remember, in a time such as this, we are not the crazy ones, New York City.
Right. This is not exactly the message you want to send. We are not the crazy ones. Yeah, tell it to the orderly. I mean, anybody else, these people be locked right up any other time. We're not the crazy ones. She said with her nostrils flaring and her crazy eyes aglow. Look at the audience behind her. Contestants on The Price is Right. Come on down. But they're all dressed up. What was the game show where they dressed up? Let's make a deal. That's what she looks like. She's on Let's Make a Deal. Although they don't want any deals. The only deal they want is complete annihilation.
We are not the outlandish ones, New York City.
Oh, you're not, huh? Okay.
They want us to think we are crazy. We are sane.
They think we're crazy. We're not the crazy ones. Of course not. Yeah, no, you're the inmates are running the asylum. Of course, crazy ones, she says at the Zoran the Moron rally. Oh, good Lord. This is just, I can't take too much more of this. They're calling him by the way, a champagne socialist, slammed for hogging $2,300 apartment despite six-figure salary and wealthy family. If you look back at the guy and what he's, essentially who he is and what he's done, and his record, you'll find out just how crazy the guy is and how crazy all of these people are. The fact he's out there now, I think over the weekend, which is, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Can't make it get any crazier. But he's out there now saying the real victims of September 11th were people like his aunt. Try to make this line up.
I want to speak to the memory of my aunt. Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
She's the victim. She's the victim, not the thousands of people that died on September 11th. It's Zoran the Moron's aunt, the real victim. The real victim, New York City, going to get exactly what they deserve here in a couple of days, it sounds like. Good Lord. I just pray for those folks. You know, half of me thinks, and I've talked about this, it's like, give it to them. Let them have it. Let them be a glowing beacon of the disaster, the dumpster fire that whole thing will be. But unfortunately, I don't know that we can afford that because, you know, we depend on New York City. We depend on some of these blue places, even California.
But we must remember, in a time such as this, we are not the crazy ones, New York City.
What a pitch. What a sales pitch. Unbelievable. Whew. What do you say to that? We're not the crazy ones. We're AOC, we're going to have to figure out how to rein in the media, by the way. Look at this. Same time. We're not the crazy ones. She says we got to figure out how to rein in the media.
You know, I do think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation.
These are the people that brought you 2020, by the way, that got me booted off of YouTube and Facebook and a bunch of other places. Same people. It's censorship. Straight up censorship. I've got so much. I'm not even sure what else I can possibly play for you. You want the tax the rich audience? Look, I hope Curtis Sliwa wins. I hope he's the next mayor of New York City. I'm just not holding my breath. Universal child care. First of all, I don't want, you know what I don't want? I don't want somebody else to watch my child. I want to be able to afford to make a living for my family, and I can stay home and watch my child. Or, in my case, my wife. If you know what I mean. What universal child care? What kind of a weird dystopian thing is that? Freeze the rent. How about I can own? These people are so nuts. They don't get it. I know rent stuff. Mom Donnie and Hochul, and of course Hakeem Jeffries is out there supporting this weirdo. And they yelled. They did yell. I think at some point they yelled. Products of public education, all of them. Products of public education, the whole lot.
Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans coming together in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Staten Island, in this country, in Jews.
Again, though, remember, they're not the crazy ones.
The crazy ones,
No.
New York City.
No.
We are not the outlandish ones, New York City.
Free sex change surgeries. Rush had the best names. The lopidectomy and the addictomy. Those are the surgeries. It was so nuts. It was so nuts back then. Excuse me, not to get too close to that subject, but it was so nuts back then. And I can't believe that we've come this far. That people, I don't really think that people still. I don't think they still think. I really don't. I don't think they still think that this stuff works. I think the average person is fully against all of this. But the media does its best to just push all of this insanity on us. By the way, we're not the crazy ones, the left screams. As they go to people's homes and knock on their doors. How about this? This is a great clip.
Look up here. Look up here. You got a real South Shore resident.
This woman taking the mayor of Chicago to task.
63 years up here. Not no paid protester. Not somebody that's paid with a 501c3. You got a real, live South Shore resident at this mic. Now what you're going to do for the citizens of South Shore and the black people of Chicago, you're going to stop with all this fake black facade you're doing. You're going to stop that. Because first of all, you're going to deal with the fact that word on the street is you're a Haitian. And if that be the case, that explains a lot. But if you're not, we're going to dethrone this self-acclamation you gave yourself at that Black Caucus thing, where you said that you're the freest black man in America right now. I dare you insult black men like that. You are far cry from that. You're sitting here talking against Trump, trying to make him look this way or that way, when we right here this morning saw you misuse the police department to violate our rights as citizens. You told them that they cannot participate in getting these illegal immigrants while you sat up here and misrepresented that raid on South Shore Drive like black people was getting beat up and all that over there. You know that's a lie. I live over there, and black people over there, we kicking in and we chilling because ICE ain't looking for us. And you know they're not. They're coming to get what we asked our president to do, and that was to engage in mass deportation, to get these illegals out of our country. We are coming for them seats. Do you understand that? And while you got these people up in here acting like they pro-police, if they really was about the police, against the police, whatever the case may be, they deal with that Laquan McDonald Act so that we can get y'all up out of that seat. Yeah, you wipe your face. Yeah? You wipe your face because you're probably out breaking out in a sweat. Let me tell you something. We coming for them seats. And at first, I said it to you. Then it spread it to city council. But now you gonna mess with the black people of America and...
Do you know what's interesting? I saw somebody mention this the other day. And this clip, I think, really sort of nails it. Did you know that the participation of the black participation in the No Kings rally was virtually nothing? It was very, very low. And if you looked at the demographics of who was actually participating, it was mostly old, boomer, white people. Isn't that something? And I think this lady's making that point. I think there's a lot more people just like her in places like Chicago and beyond. Seeing what the Democrat Party have done to their people and to their cities, to their homes, and they've had enough.
American citizens by being a fraud and showing the Democratic Party by how lousy they really are. Black people in America, American citizens, y'all say it along with me. From the East Coast to the West Coast, from the North to the South. The Democratic Party, we're putting y'all on alert. All across of America. That's right. We coming for them seats. That's right.
Wow. Coming for them seats, folks. There you have it. You know what? There's so much we could talk about today. There's so much going on, but I almost feel like that's probably the best news. People waking up, people that are speaking up, and people that are standing up. And she probably deserves the highlight of the day. I didn't even get to talk about what I want to talk about, which was Gavin Newsom saying he's going to run for president. Well, he's not saying he's not going to run. Okay, we all know this is... I don't even know if this is news, but ramping up for a 2026 run, says he will consider it. Of course. You don't have these idiots operating your social media like he does, saying the type of things that he does, trying to clap back against Trump the way that he is, without actually trying to do it. They've been breeding him to do this since the beginning. All right, that's it, folks. That'll do it for today. Appreciate you always. Don't forget, come on over to the Locals VIP live stream behind the scenes for the Freedom Fam. Just $7 a month to join. Make sure you get in and say hi today. Boy, things go up. They jump to $9 at the end of the month. So if you get in now. Join for a year and you'll get a month free plus a copy of my book. God bless.